Hello, everyone. It's Jay Bradley. Welcome back to Joy, Love, and Healing Podcast. I'm excited to be here today. And my guest is, well, she's beautiful, but she also helped me through a really amazing process. A couple of New Years ago, we had a beautiful ceremony. And, you know, I have a health and nutrition background, and I've always been big on superfoods, but more to take care of the physical body and how we can maybe increase our longevity and feel better. But today we're going to talk about what I call a superfood, probably one of the original superfoods that's actually going to help you emotionally and spiritually. And we're going to talk a lot about that. So let me introduce Celeste McMillian. Her body of work as a practitioner is part science, part spirituality. Through her career experience in alternative medicine technologies, Celeste has discovered various avenues of healing, from freeing the mind, body, and soul. She has a background in human energy dynamics, herbalism, and psychology, with a focus on nurturing mental and spiritual alignment. She's most known in LA's healing community for her blindfolded cacao ceremonies. I wasn't blindfolded. And in all that she creates, her intention is the same: to express from the highest self, to continue to expand to greater degrees of awareness, and to be of service. Hello, my friend.
Hi, thank you for such a beautiful introduction.
Your ceremony was really, I don't know if you remember, but I was sobbing. I mean, I had gone through a bit of a breakup, but there was something really magical and really heart-opening about that beautiful experience. And I'm just honored to have you here and get as much in as we can in this half hour.
Yeah.
Tell us about you and in particular, maybe how you got into what you're doing, and talk about cacao and anything else you want to share.
Amazing. Yes, thank you. I think you said enough about me, so I'll just go straight to the start of this show, the cacao, beautiful plant medicine. The way that I was introduced to cacao was through my work at Transformational Festivals. I had a best friend that does some of the biggest festivals in the country. And after experiencing things like Burning Man and seeing how it was possible to have a community where there was celebration and partying, but also an evolution of consciousness happening, I didn't even think twice. I just went down that river stream, and I started creating healing sanctuaries at these festivals. And during one of these healing sanctuary events, I just put out an open call, got some shamans from Mexico that came, offered cacao, and that was my introduction to cacao in ceremony and in general. And yeah, prior to that, I've always had a call to study psychology, research psychology specifically to help develop non-pharmaceutical treatments for mental disorders. I have a lot of experience with very close family members that were diagnosed with schizophrenia and depressions and all those types of things. And at a certain point in my young journey, I discovered that it's really only here in the West that mental illness and all of these things are treated in such a way that makes it seem like the person is broken or like there's something wrong with them. In indigenous cultures, people that have different types of brains like this are actually revered and nourished and nurtured. And these are the people that become the medicine women and the shamans, because they have a different lens through which to view reality. And so
I did not know that. That's beautiful.
Right? It's kind of, it's a paradigm.
That makes me very emotional. Having dealt with depression, I mean, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm a big believer from my own experience that almost all of us fall somewhere on a spectrum for many of the things that would be in the West labeled as a disorder or, something like that. So yeah, it really touched me deeply when I realized that that's not the only way, and that there's these amazing plant medicines like cacao specifically spoke to me because yes, there's ayahuasca, there's psilocybin mushrooms, there's all these plant medicines that, wow, can take you through the doorway of transformation and healing like there's no tomorrow. However, not everyone can do those plant medicines, especially like my family member who has been on antipsychotic Western medications for 30 plus years. That changes your brain chemistry. So not everyone is able to do those bigger, deeper plant medicine. So something like cacao is so powerful because everyone can do it. It's not psychedelic. However, it is very heart opening, as you mentioned and experienced.
Mm-hmm.
um,
What is it about cacao? I know you're going to get into it, but like,
yeah.
how does it work at opening the heart?
I so appreciate you continuing to keep me steering.
No, I have so many. I really do have so many questions. I don't want to interrupt, but
No, please. So yeah, basically cacao is a heart medicine in every sense of the word. Physically speaking, it's very, very good for the heart. In fact, I just learned that there's an indigenous culture called the Kuna Indians in Central America, and they have little to, I think, actually no record of heart disease, high blood pressure, and they drink cacao like 5 times a day. So physically speaking, it's so good for your heart. It's a vasodilator, so you're increasing blood flow and oxygen to the heart, to the brain. And it has flavonoids, which are anti-inflammatory antioxidants. So you weren't wrong when you said that cacao is one of the oldest medicines in the world. The word cacao is actually one of the oldest words in the world, like 15,000 years old or something like that. Yeah, it's truly one of the world's oldest plant medicines. Go ahead.
No, I mean, how does it correlate to cocoa and chocolate? And like, can you just educate me?
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to continue.
Yeah.
Getting too excited. So yeah, physically speaking, really good for heart health. Energetically and emotionally, it opens up your heart. So I heard someone recently talk about how, human beings have personalities, different kinds of personalities. Plants also have different types of personalities. And again, to kind of like relate it to more psychoactive plants that come in and they take you somewhere else to widen your scope of reality and shift those paradigms. Cacao doesn't work in that way. She comes in and works with your intention. So if you're already in the place to consciously be using your mind to communicate with this mind, we have 3 brains, this one, and then your stomach. This is the first to develop in utero, the heart. We're our heart before we're anything else, which is kind of wild. So consciously using this to communicate with this and setting an intention allows you to literally program and open a dialogue with this plant medicine, cacao. And then she's able to come in, and rather than just throw you into some other dimension, she works with you exactly where you're at. And it really helps to just open the channel between your mind and your heart. And in general, just clear the way for greater creativity, greater joy. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
And I imagine can also bring up some stuff that's in the way, right? Of joy and creativity, which whatever that is, I know grief sits, I think, behind the heart. So I'm sure there's people who experience what might feel like not fun emotions.
Sure.
Does it open up people to anger as well and like all sorts of mixed emotions?
So the first thing I'll say is that cacao also has a compound in it that acts as a natural antidepressant. So it's essentially a precursor to serotonin. So this medicine on its own is pretty much fully geared to bringing you into joy and happiness and peace and content. And if you have a practice of stillness that you can pair with that, there's absolutely the opportunity to dig a little bit deeper and allow any sadness or anger or any denser emotions to come up. I personally, when I do cacao ceremonies, I pair it with breathwork, which I know you're the king of.
Oh, yeah. No, it's a beautiful process you brought us through.
And it's just because your heart is so open from the cacao, utilizing breathwork really helps to clear this out. So that's why I say if you have specific practices that you can pair with cacao, yes, it has the potential to bring up anger, frustration, blocks, you name it. But if you're drinking it just on its own, just as part of your morning schedule or ritual, it's just going to bring you joy. It's just going to bring you to that sweet, nurturing place.
And does it have caffeine? That's the question I have.
It does not have caffeine. Actually, I found out recently that it might have trace amounts, but the reason why it's a stimulant is actually from the compound called theobromine, which directly translates to food of the gods. So it's a very balanced heart and mind energy that it brings you into. So the theobromine is a stimulant, but then the cacao also has compounds that act as a muscle relaxant, a smooth muscle relaxant. So you're getting that burst of awake, like brightness, but also with that gentle ease of relaxation, so you don't have that crazy steep drop off that caffeine kind of gives you, or that jitteriness. It's just, I'm awake, I'm present, I'm feeling,
I mean, whatever you're doing, I want. You are present. You are.
Today. Can you tell?
Yeah. So it's okay to drink it at night then as well.
Absolutely.
Throughout the day, like you said, the indigenous people, 5 cups a day or something.
5 cups a day. Yes.
Man, and do you sweeten? I'm just curious. Do you sweeten the cacao?
Yeah, I do because it's a ceremonial grade raw cacao that I work with. It can be very bitter.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I love to actually add a bit of oat milk or different plant milk, and then agave. I make more of like a cacao latte because I'm spoiled at this point. I've been drinking it for years.
Yes.
But there's so many different ways to work with it.
And I got to jump to this because I'm so excited to order. You have your own line of cacao.
I do officially.
I'm so excited for you. You're going to share your information at the end about how people can find this, but that's amazing. Yeah. Healer, entrepreneur, teacher.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So yes, our company is called Misperception, and the whole concept is to offer the rest of our community different plant medicine-based products to help uplift and enrich your life. Not to necessarily drastically change habits like drinking coffee or smoking tobacco, but just to offer substitutions, things that enhance rather than stripping, and taking away from you. So this is actually our cacao here.
Oh my God, what a beautiful bag.
How beautiful is that?
Logo, that is gorgeous, those colors.
An agent of change.
I cannot wait to get my hands on that.
Yeah, I'm so happy to send you some. So we have cacao, we have different CBD oils. We've infused one with sage, one with gotu kola, and another with lavender. CBD, CBG, which is great for digestion, and one of them has CBN. So these are different compounds of the plant that make it more of a whole compound, which makes it more effective.
I love this. I've been taking CBD at night. I don't have a problem sleeping, but I noticed when I took it at night, I would just sleep so deeply and wake up so refreshed. So, but are there also CBDs that stimulate a little bit too, or?
That's a good question. I feel like personally, when I'm taking plants or your different supplements that help to relax my body, that in itself is stimulating, because I'm not walking around with tension. When I feel good, I feel like my natural divine energy flows. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Have you worked hard at feeling good? Like, have you had emotional struggles in your past as well?
Oh gosh.
Have you had to work? Yeah. I mean.
Sure. I'm an open book, because I really, at this point in my 31 years on this divine planet, have learned that the contrast is there for us. Life happens for us, not to us, And so I'm very proud of my background. I grew up as a foster kid with my younger sister, and like I said, close relatives with schizophrenia and different addictions. I've had my share of the pie. And basically spent, the better half of the last 15, 13 years doing this work, and that's so much of what my arsenal, if you will, as a teacher and facilitator is really just sharing the tools that have helped me. I'm like, when something
Yes.
helps you, especially to heal like a deep trauma,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that clearing, that space that's created is then filled with ecstatic joy, and I can't help but be like, I want to share this. I want to give this to
Yes.
people.
Oh, yes. That's exactly how I feel too. Yeah, having searched for years and years, decades actually, and then breathwork was the thing that really changed my life. So of course, just sharing it felt so exciting because we give people hope, right? That change is possible, that they can feel better. Because God knows, struggle definitely offers contrast, but it's not easy when you feel stuck in the middle of it. So,
Oh man.
yeah, well, you do.
Yeah.
You have so many, I feel like, gifts and talents. I mean, music is a big part of your teaching, your healing. You're a DJ and you produce music too, right?
That's right.
And you bring music into your ceremonies too, don't you?
I do. Music
Yeah.
is another thing that really got me through my childhood. And I feel like that truly was probably the first medicine that I ever received and discovered. And yeah, the more time that goes by, the more I find that all these different passions and callings that I have, they're just different tools on my belt, and the more that I live this life, the more that they start to merge, and it's so exciting. The type of music that I produce and DJ primarily is psychedelic trance. And so for me, it's really like, wow, the first time I heard this music and saw people on the dance floor, I was like, this is some futuristic tribal stuff. Like it's essentially, it is such an information dense music that it really allows people to go into this trance state, and we're talking sober. We're talking sober, ecstatic dance where you're just moving the body in such a way that you're releasing trauma and you're going into this meditative state, not unlike indigenous cultures that would dance around the fire and beat the drums. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. I love it.
Yeah. I remember your music being really powerful as well during that ceremony.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know it's a big part of the breathwork journey as well because, well, words, music, it triggers emotions and release. So such a beautiful combo. And
it helps with the flow of energy as well, because as you said, people have a tendency and an opportunity certainly to release a lot in these ceremonies, whether it's breathwork or cacao or both. And so I find that it really helps to play music because then it reminds people that they're not sitting in a pit of despair. You're moving through a hallway. You're just moving through a dark hallway and there's a light at the end,
You get to release it and let it go.
Yeah.
I like how you use the word medicine a lot, even with music, which is so great because obviously in our culture, medicine is pharmaceuticals, for so many people. And I like that you have an interest in some of the more gentle medicines, right? Yeah. I use gentle because they ease you in. So are there any others that you mentioned CBD, cacao? Is there anything else that you like to bring in to your practice or for others?
I will say that, wow, it's a never-ending journey. I'm constantly learning about new plants and new plant medicines. I just finished a whole year of an herbalism class, actually.
Good for you.
And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love and revere and personally work with some of the deeper plant medicines, like the ayahuascas and the psilocybins have really changed my life. But the reason why plant medicines like cacao and CBD and Egyptian blue lotus, why they excite me so much, again, is because everyone can do them. It's like a gateway medicine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been learning a lot about the other types of medicinal mushrooms like lion's mane, reishi, the Egyptian blue lotus, like I mentioned, and other flowers. It's a hell of a journey, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. It's just, it's amazing.
Are we discovering new plants, or is it just that, our part of the world is gaining more knowledge about plants from other parts of the world?
I think it's both. I have to say we're so fortunate to live here in Southern California because it's really kind of like the epicenter of so much in the West, for better and for worse. So
Yeah.
I always tell people, you can find plants from the jungle here that you wouldn't find anywhere else in this country or even in Europe.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of that, I also feel that my understanding anyway is that the jungle is kind of like the ocean. It's so deep and so vast with life and biodiversity that there are still things that are still being discovered, which is really exciting.
Yeah. Never ending.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Literally, I really feel like this planet has a medicine and a remedy for anything and everything.
I love that. It just reminds me of what I often tell people is just keep saying yes, keep exploring, keep learning, because there are answers out there for people to feel better. And if they keep saying yes, the things will show up that really make a difference, like cacao, like breathwork, like all of these things that we offer. So that's,
Saying
I
yes
love
and
that.
listening, right?
Listening, trusting.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Is there anything else that you... Yeah,
Oh, I
go
was
ahead.
just going to say, just piggyback on that and say, I can't tell you
Yeah.
how many times there's usually at least one or two people in my cacao ceremonies that they're like, I don't know, I was just walking by down the stairs. Something told me I should go walk around the block, and I don't know, and I found this place, and now I'm here, and thank you so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. What's something that you hear often after your ceremonies? Is there a familiar phrase that people will say?
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that's what I get with breathwork. Wow, that was unexpected.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The power
But they were
of
open enough.
transformation. Yes.
Power of transformation. Yeah,
Absolutely. And I
I
always
love that.
remind people, I'm not there to teach them anything per se. Like, yeah, I can teach you a little bit about the history of cacao and what is in this plant. But
Hmm.
I'm here to co-create this space with you. I'm learning from you. I'm benefiting from this just as much as you. We are co-weaving this tapestry. And I feel like it's really a gift, and it's very important to be able to empower people in that way to do to know that they are their own healers and their own shamans.
Yeah, I love that. What else would you like to share?
Let's see. What have we not covered yet? Well, I will say that yeah, I'm just like you were saying before, I'm getting more and more in the habit of saying yes and trusting and listening. And I've been really called recently to expand my cacao container and pair it with other modalities. I've done it with breathwork and music for so long, and I love it.
Hmm.
But there's so much more that can be done with it. I personally drink it every morning, no matter what I'm doing. Recently I did an ecstatic dance and cacao event. So we did a little bit of breath work in the beginning just to get people to relax and get nice and open. And then a little bit of eye gazing because that makes people uncomfortable. And so you're starting to
Oh,
already energetically strip down. And then ecstatic dance. And it was wonderful and so joyous. I feel like traditionally that's there's so many different ways to use it, but traditionally it's often paired with a dance because it brings you to this ecstatic, joyous place, so you can use it to dive deeper and do some excavation, or you can use it to expand and go out and celebrate. This weekend, actually, I'm doing my first acupuncture cacao ceremony.
oh, I saw that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So
I love
again,
that.
just testing it out, listening.
Hmm.
And, the thing is, when you're listening and you say yes, things just flow. They just happen. They just co-create themselves. You just got to show up.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see how that goes. I was also in a sensory deprivation tank yesterday. It blew my mind again. So then I was like, maybe I should do a collaboration with a float place with cacao.
That's a really big tank. Everyone in the same tank?
Can you imagine?
That's, kind of sounds fun to me.
I don't think we're quite there yet, but yeah.
I imagine cacao in couple sessions would be beautiful too, right? Opening the heart, opening up to more sensuality. There's so much, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm excited to get my hands on your products. I do want you to share how people can find you, but I have a few questions right now that I would love you to answer. And the first one is, what brings you the most joy in your life?
It can be anything.
Anything.
I gotta say, my dog. He's just my best friend. And animals get us like more than we get ourselves. And I feel like he's taught me so much and just deepened my ability to love.
You're not the first person to say that, by the way. Sure. So I'm this close to getting a dog.
Oh my gosh. When you said yard, I was like, do you have a puppy? Because I'm sure he would love that yard.
The house came with a dog door. The house came with a sign that said beware of dogs. So they're building a dog park just down the street from me at the park.
Seriously?
So if those aren't signs, yeah.
Are you saying yes?
Yes, I am. Next time we talk, you can have a dog. I do have a question. What about, I like this one. What do you love most about yourself?
Oh, yes. What I love most about myself, I feel like I shouldn't be able to answer this question so fast.
No, you should. Cacao, baby.
Yes, right? What I love most about myself is my childlike nature and demeanor. I feel like, I don't know, I guess in a way I'm a little bit of a walking paradox because I had to grow up really fast. When I was like 7 years old, they would call me a little old lady. So I was a very serious child.
Really?
And I'm a Virgo, so I'm a little bit like OCD, But at the same time, because I've done so much healing work after 20, it's allowed me to set down the baggage, and I literally feel like I'm getting younger as I get older, and I have more energy. And right before this call, I was watching SpongeBob because that's my jam. Like, it just makes my life fun to be able to be a kid,
Probably why I clicked with you right away. I love that childlike nature. It's so important. But you're also, I got to say, super open-hearted. The irony of that, but you really are, and there's a beautiful kindness that comes from you. So, last question: what's your definition of healing?
This is a good question. What is my definition of healing? Oh, yes. Okay. My definition of healing is bringing love and conscious awareness to the places inside us that hurt.
Ooh, that's powerful.
Yeah, it
Love
came
it.
straight down. I was like, how am I going to answer this question? Let me just listen for a sec. Oh yeah, giving love to the places inside of us that hurt.
That's beautiful. You better put that on your IG and tweet it out. That's a good one. It's really good.
I might do that.
As Oprah says. Tweet, tweet.
I'm doing it right now, actually.
Yeah, that was really good. So how can people find you, and how can they work with you, and how can they find your lovely product?
So for our cacao CBD line, the website is misperception.co. So msperception.co. And then I also have a website as a facilitator. It's celestemcmillian.com.
Beautiful. And you're on social media too, aren't you?
I do use Instagram. I try to limit it I can't deal with all the other ones. It's too much. But I post regularly all of my events to my Instagram. And I believe it's just at Celeste McMillian.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. That was an awesome conversation.
My pleasure. I had fun. I was like nervous, excited, fine line between them, of course, but I had such a blast. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm happy to see you again and hopefully very soon see you in person.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. And
Thanks,
thanks
Jay.
everyone for listening.